Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Andrew Genovese, and I am a breathwork teacher, plant medicine guide, healer, and nutritionist. And it is so beautiful to be able to be here with you today and share my wisdom and knowledge. As in this talk, we're going to dive deep into the world of breath and just exploring all the different realms that are linked to breathwork. So again, I'm honored and privileged to be sharing with you today. So before we get started, how about we just close our eyes, okay? And we're just going to tune into the body. We're just going to take 3 big conscious breaths deeply into the nose, into the belly. As we inhale, the body's going to expand. Exhale, the body's going to contract, and we're just going to get grounded before we get started. So let's take our first inhale. And just one more. And exhaling. So with that last exhale, just feeling into the body and just asking ourselves, what is present for me in this now moment? And just slowly coming back. I'm so happy and honored to be here, to be giving my energy to this beautiful, beautiful cause. So let's dive deep, shall we? So over the last 10 years, especially the last 5, we've seen this overwhelming attention and popularity that's been driven towards the world of breathwork. It's an anomaly. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. The amount of millions and millions of people that we're seeing, discovering the world of breath. And as a breathwork teacher, I would say in all the modalities that I've studied, the reason why I love breathwork so much is because at the end of the day, it's not the guide, it's not the facilitator, it's not the healer that is healing them. It is themselves. They hold the key. You hold the key to your own healing and your own healing journey. And when someone is, holding space or guiding, for a breath workshop or a ceremony, with breath work involved in it, they're a guide. But at the end of the day, all these healing tools, this inner healing wisdom is already inside you, right? We are so societally conditioned, programmed, brainwashed, manipulated to believe that love and wholeness and happiness lies in the next partner or the bigger salary, the next house. At our core, our essence, we are nothing more than pure divine love. We are love, we are gratitude, we are kindness, we are hope, we are compassion, we are all those things. But one has to have the awareness and consciousness to know that's what you are at the core. But it's only through unraveling and peeling off all the facades and layers and the stories that we continuously tell ourselves. It's like a cassette player that just is on repeat. And until we press pause or stop that cassette player from playing, those stories in the unconscious and the subconscious just continue to play. And I think that's why I will be sharing, breath for many, many decades to come, and helping guiding so many people to finding alignment and oneness within themselves, because it isn't outside there. It is all right here. And I think this finding, when people find the breath and realize this deep inner wisdom that they have locked inside, it's not someone else. It's not like there's no other vehicle. There's no other vehicle to reach this profound healing other than yourself. And so I think that's the reason why we're seeing breath, this world of breath, just being passed to just millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions all over the world. So I've, in the year of 2020 especially, me personally, I've never been more inspired in my entire life. Not only linking with so many lights all over the world and people co-creating, collaborating, but people finding their breath and being open to, explore these modalities that they weren't taught in a school system. They weren't taught in a university system or in a medical system if you were a nurse or trained to be a doctor. And just the fact that what we can reach just through breathing alone is extraordinary. And I'm going to touch a little bit more on that as we move forward. So, breathwork really allows us to dissolve limitation. It shows us that there's magic all around us. There's magic all around us. And one thing that I tell, my clients, that maybe trying to convince, a sister or a brother or a friend, maybe their mom to try breathwork, saying like, Mom, this is so powerful. You have to give it a try. Only they are going to feel the call of actually, right? It's one thing to say like, oh, I'd love to try that, or maybe I'll try that. But it's a whole nother thing to actually say, I'm ready. I'm going to do this, and have the awareness and consciousness to have that call and make the conscious choice to say, I'm ready to feel into whatever this practice might bring me, whatever is going to surface. And through this conscious choice, we go into this acceptance of I'm ready to embrace, embody whatever is going to come my way. And so that's how we start to dissolve these limitations and have these profound experiences just through breathing alone. And just to watch this unfold and to be a part of is nothing short of supernatural. And we're going to continue to watch millions and millions of more souls on earth finding their breath in the power of breath, and this power that we harness inside ourselves. So I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal journey with breathwork and how it personally changed my life. So throughout my 20s, I spent many years traveling the globe. I went to over 40 countries because nothing about this system, and having 2 weeks off a year here in the US, here in California, where I reside in Los Angeles, nothing about it everything about it felt wrong to me, even at a very young age, even in late high school year, 16, 17, and absolutely everything about it felt just not in resonancy with what we should be doing in university. So I continued to travel the world all throughout my 20s, going to over 40 countries, and just constantly feeling alive when I was in these other parts of the world. So in my late 20s, I decided to open up a backpackers hostel in Central America. Was working nonstop, 2 jobs to make this thing possible, just saving every dollar that I could, everything going towards this. And so when we got out to Central America and opened our place, straight out the gates, the place was booming and it was doing super well. And fast forward 6 months after the business had been doing super well, we suffered some serious political corruption within the country. So like that, we had to close our doors. We had to stop everything. And I didn't know what I was going to do at that time, but with my business partners, it was my time to take some time off. So I went up to northern Nicaragua and I traveled for a little bit. And then my business partner said, wow, the protests are getting worse and worse and worse. More and more people are dying. And so it was getting, you could feel the tension, the energy was getting more and more dense. And so I left Central America. I left Nicaragua where I was living, and I traveled up through Nicaragua, to El Salvador, to Guatemala, to Mexico, and throughout this time, and when in the duration when my business was open, I was waking up with severe anxiety every single day. And that's when I initially started finding meditation. I started sitting on the edge of my bed for about 5 minutes and just breathing. And I noticed that it was just, helping me a little bit, but I hadn't dove fully deep into the world just yet. But long story short, I had a plant medicine journey in Guatemala, and I had some really profound messages, and those messages were that everything was going to be fine. I had nothing to worry about, and that I needed to move to New York City. So that is what I did. I left Central America and living in a tiny little village, moved to New York City, got a job straight away. And as soon as I got a job, I actually started losing motor function in both of my hands and my arms. And so this was intense, to say the least. It was like nothing I ever experienced. I hadn't heard of anything like this ever happening to anyone. And so to be frank with you, I actually didn't know if I was dying or if I had some rare disease. I went the Western medical route. I was well knowing that they probably weren't going to provide any answers for me, but I tried it anyway. And yeah, all I got was just being prescribed pills, pain pills, etc. I declined and said, no, this isn't going to do anything for me. And so I spent about 2 weeks, right, playing the victim, saying, why is this happening to me? How can this be happening to me? I had lost my business. I had no money. I started losing my health, losing ability to move my arms at full capacity. So my whole world was collapsing. What else could happen at this point? And I don't know what happened. I don't know what message I received or where it came from, but I started sitting on the edge of my bed every day, and I started doing breath work, and I just started just breathing. I just started sitting down and I just started breathing every day. And what I started noticing was that I started being able to create more of a calm within my system, within my body, and starting to separate these really heavy thoughts that were starting to stream into my consciousness, that I wasn't okay, and that I was in deep trouble, and that I was dying, and all these things. So fast forward 3 or 4 months, and it was chronic inflammation all along. And what was it from? What was the chronic inflammation from? It was from years of stress and GMO foods, alcohol, never taking care of my body, not having the full awareness what tap water, drinking that every day was doing to me. And just in this state of stress and fight or flight, I was just constantly pumping inflammation into my body by producing cortisol. So it was getting more connected to my breath. After about 4 months of being in New York, I knew that I needed to move back to California. So I moved back to California, and after continuing my breathwork practice of about 15 minutes a day, I had fully healed my hands and my arms. I had full motor function again in my hands and arms. And, to tell you the truth, I don't know how else to explain it, but I felt unstoppable. I felt limitless. And I thought, God, if I can heal just from breathing of what I had going on, then what else is out there? What else is possible through this, through breathing? Like what else can we explore? So I knew that it was going to be my mission in this life to be helping guide people towards finding alignment and wholeness within themselves through breathing. And so for me, breathwork changed and totally redirected the direction of my life, where I was, and finding out who I truly am and what I'm meant to do here. So every time I get to work with someone, whether it be through group Zooms or private sessions in person or private sessions through Zoom, it lights me up because what the possibilities are truly just, they're endless, they're limitless, because that's what we're tapping into, right? We're tapping into the infinite. And so the possibilities are infinite in what is possible with this profound healing that we can reach through our breath. So in terms of healing, what is possible? What is possible with breath, and what is happening inside the body when we're doing breath work? So encoded in our DNA, we are wired to heal. We are wired to breathe and heal. It's just that simple. There's not one person who can do this and can't. All of us can. So as we start to breathe, after an extended period of time, all 60 trillion of our cells begin to talk to each other, right? They begin to communicate, and they start to, your body already knows, this inner wisdom already knows exactly what you need on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level. So before you start to breathe, especially when you do a really deep breathwork session ceremony that may be 45 minutes or an hour and a half long, it's already been decided what you can experience. And I'm going to touch a little bit more on that as we move forward. But when we start to do this breath work, we are tapping into the depths of our human physiology. We're triggering antiviral, antifungal, anti-cancer, anti-parasite, antibacteria. All right. So all these, your body is basically getting a giant mop and broom and sweeping up all the muck and impurities. So this is an incredible study that's been done over the past 10 years. Through a 3 to 6 month breathing practice, 15 to 20 minutes a day, we can get rid of 70% of the toxins, impurities, and heavy metals in the body. So someone hears that and they go, what? No way. Like, wow, that's unbelievable. I know, it is unbelievable. And this is what you can access at any time. But here's the thing, right? We can say, well, anyone can do this, right? Well, yes and no. One could hear this, but the only thing is, will it resonate? Will they have the consciousness and awareness to have the openness to break through the conditioning and what they've been taught is real health? One will not embark on this journey of breath if they don't have that subtle awareness and consciousness present within them. So with breathing, right, we can trigger all these things. We're tapping into our central nervous system, which is literally this wiring this electrical wiring that goes throughout our entire body. We are electromagnetic beings. So this electrical wiring, it's essentially like, when we breathe for 10 minutes, we're like coating the whole body in a layer of coconut oil, just giving it this calm, right? And this is something that we can tap into any time when we're at a grocery store or a shop, anywhere, when we're presented with a situation that is challenging or someone who might be living in a lower vibration of fear. We can always bring it back to center and anchor into our breath, right? So going back to what's happening in the body, through igniting all these healing inner mechanisms, we are essentially, you could put it this way. So here's the cell. We have 60 trillion of them. When we do breath work, we are removing toxins, moving impurities, and we are replacing that negative emotion or impurity toxin, and we are replacing it with light. So when we are replacing that cell with light, we are, yes, you guessed it, elevating our frequency. Like the brilliant Nikola Tesla said, one of the most incredible men that's ever incarnated into a physical body, if you want to understand 4 things, understand this right here: resonancy, energy, frequency, and vibration. That is all the secrets of the universe. So just by understanding these four things, we understand that through cultivating a regular breath practice, we are constantly giving this calming sensation to our central nervous system. And our central nervous system goes, oh, okay, I like this. She's been giving this to me every single day. This is starting to feel familiar. So with cultivating this practice every single day, even if it's only for 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, slowly, this starts to become our most steadfast state. So by practicing it, we become that. We start to become this love that is present when we're having these extraordinary supernatural experiences that cannot be explained, right? You can tell someone how powerful breathwork is and explain to them that they should do it. But it's something that must be experienced. And this is something that I've seen time and time again. You can tell someone it, but it must be experienced in order to feel, not think, but feel into these sensations and just profound things that happen in the body when we do this breath work and we dive deep into the world of breath. And recently I've been switching my language a little bit, right? I use breath work for people to understand what I'm speaking of, but I've often been referring to it as breath play. Let's do breath play today. So why breath play? Because breath play, I think, switches the energy around it a little bit, that it's work, right? That it's challenging, that it's difficult. We view life through the same eyes that we once viewed when we were 3 years old, when we were 5 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old. So through carrying this childlike energy through everything we do and bringing that into our breath play, we cannot view it as something that's a task or difficult. We can just have fun with it. We can incorporate movement. We can incorporate breath with, of course, Qigong, Tai Chi, dance, yoga, with anything, with running, with rollerblading, with whatever activity we're doing, with football, with basketball, whatever. But we can incorporate that conscious breathing and breathe in so many different ways, and just we can move around, we can make it however we want. So I get this question, Andrew, I was breathing, but and was I breathing correctly? Or I kept having all these thoughts of if I was doing it right. And I say, whoa. Just slow down, okay? The ego, the analytical mind's always going to chime in saying, hey, are you doing this correctly? Or is this the right way to do it? Just slow down, halt. If you can sit down even for a couple minutes a day and just be checking in consciously with your breath, you're doing something right. You're leading in the right direction. All right? Like it's almost, you can't really go wrong if you're sitting down, being present with your breath, even if you're breathing through your mouth. That's fantastic. Okay? You're going in the right direction. It's most importantly that we start to just play with it, dive into it, and then, through a breathwork teacher or someone who can be a guide for you, can start to, expand your horizons and expand your mind on the world of breathwork and breath play. So, in this world of breath, I've seen so many things healed, so many healings, incredible healings with breathwork. So especially for women, I can't even tell you the amount of dozens of women who I've worked with that have been seeing doctors, tried so many diets over the years, been looking for all these answers, trying to lose weight. And they can't find the answer. Do you know why? I'm going to tell you. Because so much of this weight issue is, what is it? That's right. It's an energetic problem. So throughout our life, right, we have emotions come through. That's part of human life. That's part of this human existence and incarnating into this physical body. So we have a wide range of emotions ranging from ecstatic bliss to happiness to pain to guilt to shame, all of it. And so when we experience these more challenging emotions that may be of shame or guilt, anxiety, fear, overwhelm, we so often stop these emotions with our free will. So what happens when we do that? We create these energetic blockages in the body that could be the size of a marble or a pea, really tiny, and these could even be up to the size of a baseball or a grapefruit. That's how big these energetic blockages could be. So these energies stay lodged in the body and they're pushing against our energetic body and our physical body. These energies can get trapped inside chakras. Okay, so they can get trapped in our sacral chakra. If it's related to our sexual energy or our solar plexus, related to our standing in our power. They can get trapped in our heart space when we suffer, for example, losing a loved one, or losing a dear sister who's been so close to us in our life. These energetic blockages get lodged in the body, and so these emotions are energy in motion, emotion, and they get stuck in the body. So with our breath, with this kinetic life force that moves the earth and all planets and 200 billion galaxies in the universe, with this kinetic life force, with our breath, we break up these energetic blockages that lie dormant in the body, thus freeing up our body to move around freely, freeing up back pain, energy that's stuck in the intestines, in the stomach. And particularly for women, I find hold so much trauma, particularly in the hips, gut, and womb space, in this lower region. So the breath allows this incredible release of energy. Okay, and particularly for women, a woman's womb space is so connected to their heart, so it strengthens that connection to the heart space from breathing. And you have to remember that doctors say, okay, so you have this going on, so it's this symptom, you have this symptom, so it's this, so you're going to take this pill. This is a total illusion of how the body works. Your body is a intricately designed healing machine. You already have, as I touched on, all the healing wisdom and tools within inside you. Okay? So your body is this complicated freeway system that's all connected. So through removing these energetic blockages through weeks and eventually months of breathwork practice, all of a sudden, this freeway system just got all the cars off of it. It's free. There's no traffic. And so all this intricate freeway system is all of a sudden going from 30 miles an hour to 75 miles an hour. And what simply happens after that, it allows one to find their spirit and their soul again and start to realize who they truly are and start to find purpose and alignment within themselves, love within themselves, and not finding it anywhere else but that. Okay? So that's one of the really profound and beautiful things about breathwork. Curing respiratory issues. I've seen so many people cure respiratory issues just from breathing correctly in through their nose. Skin issues. So many people. I've had multiple people come in with things like tinea vesicular, which is spotting all over the skin. So accompanying breath with changing to an all plant-based diet, or whatever they're called to incorporate, but using, at least consuming, 70 to 90% plants that aren't sprayed with toxins and chemicals and pesticides, all of a sudden the balance of the body starts to regenerate. Things start to come back in balance. and the energetic field, the auric field around the body, starts to come back in balance. And one thing that doctors are not taught is that so much of what disease, dis-ease in the body is an energetic problem. So that is why, for example, if you're wearing a mask, you're preventing the kinetic life force that moves 200 billion galaxies, planets, and all these 200 billion galaxies, planet Earth, from moving. The kinetic life force, prana, is everything and everywhere. So you're literally blocking your immune system from firing. Do you understand this? The reason why your endocrine system, your autonomic nervous system, your central nervous system works is because of your breath. This life force that moves Mother Gaia, that moves planet Earth. So just from someone changing from being a mouth breather to nose breathing can have unbelievable benefits in their health. And one thing I find is that especially people who are, maybe 30, 40, 60, 70 pounds or more overweight are generally mouth breathers. So one thing I want to point and pinpoint this is that it is impossible to have perfect health if you are a mouth breather. Okay? So remember this. Your mouth is for eating and drinking. Your nose is for, yes, breathing. So behind our nose, we have a really complicated filtration system. And this filtration system is a little bit larger than a golf ball. It's quite large behind the nose. So when we breathe in through our nose, this filtration system is filtering out toxins, chemicals, car exhaust, plane exhaust, insecticides, you name it. Just from the paint on our walls and the toxins in our couch and all the impurities in our pillowcase, our nose is filtering this out. So to be breathing in through our nose, especially during the most important healing hours, which is 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., that's right. It's imperative to be breathing in through our nose during this time. So I can't stress that enough, how important it is to be breathing in through our nose for perfect health. And just this alone can literally change people's life, can literally reinvent someone who's even in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, who starts to breathe through their nose and in through their mouth. I've heard so many stories of people who are literally even in a nursing home and their health gets turned around just from nose breathing. And again, this is going back to the power that we possess within inside of us just from breath work alone. And I get so excited about it because it's that powerful, and we're watching the planet evolve tens of millions, hundreds of millions, just from people finding this ancient practice, this ancient wisdom that all of the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Tibetans, the Chinese that were finding Chinese medicine thousands of years ago, all of these cultures had one thing in common, and that was connection to their breath. Whether it was heavily incorporated or just more moderately incorporated, it was incorporated in some way or form. Because from the moment we enter this world, when the soul enters the body, when we take our first breath, and then when we leave our physical body and the breath leaves, right? Our breath is everything. It's omnipotent. It's omnipresent. It's truly everything. So the last thing I'm going to touch on, beautiful souls, is just how breathwork is linked to consciousness. Okay? So the Adi Yogi, Shiva, he said that when we can stop our mind from thinking, 144 seconds, that is when we are officially in meditation. So what he was saying by this is when we're only just present with the inhale, exhale for 144 seconds, this is when we tap into the infinite consciousness, the cosmos, source, God, the ether, the infinite intelligence and information, the Akashic field that we are all connected to. This is what we can access through practicing breath play, breath work, and meditation. And it's not like one person has access to this, or in just like someone who's attained a certain level of enlightenment. We could all have access to this divine consciousness that we're all connected to. And through conscious breathing, literally throughout our daily, just bringing awareness and consciousness into our breath, through practicing breath work every day for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 5 minutes, we start to separate these thoughts that come in and start to realize that I am not my thoughts. I am not this physical body. I am me. I am a multidimensional being. I'm the universe experiencing itself in physical form. So these are the realizations that we start to realize when we get connected to our breath, and how unbelievably, undeniably our breath is linked to consciousness and truly recognizing who we are, who we came to be, and the gifts that we came to give in this extraordinary time of ascension and moving into the age of Aquarius and the golden age, and all of it. And with that, everyone, I can't say how much I enjoyed just giving my energy, wisdom, knowledge during this beautiful time of transformation on our planet. So with that, Andrew Genovese signing off. Namaste, everyone. I love you.